Welcome to my classroom. I'm Mrs. D. In our last reaction video, we talked about the first Harry Potter. Today, we are going to move on to the second one. But before we begin, make sure you like this video and subscribe below. All right, let's start our lesson.
And you?
I'll be in my bedroom, making no noise and pretending that I don't exist.
We start out with Harry living with the Dursleys. I talked about this in our last reaction video. Harry does not feel at home in this place. He feels at home when he's at school. This does happen in real life too. We'll have students who come to school. They love it there. They have a sense of belonging that they don't feel at home. They don't want to leave school. As a teacher, we're working with each student individually as well as a whole class. Some of them are coming in with baggage coming from home, and sometimes we have to take that into account when we're teaching. We have to work with parents as well as students. There are a lot of different parenting styles out there. There are 4 main parenting styles. The first one is neglectful. The Dursleys don't treat him well. They keep him shut up, shove him off to the side, and so that they never have to talk to him or see him. They also exhibit the second parenting style, which is gentle parenting, also called permissive parenting. In this type of parenting style, parents give their kids very few limits. They just kind of let them go and let them do whatever they want, and they give them whatever they want, which as a teacher you can imagine is very interesting when we have a class of 30 kids and we have a few students that think that they are the center of the universe.
Where have you been?
Next, we have the Weasleys, which show an authoritative parenting style. This type of parenting has love and compassion, but they also have rules and consequences.
You got yourself a girlfriend.
Now, Draco, play nicely.
So here we see the Malfoys. This is the next parenting style, which is authoritarian. This basically means listen to me, you should be fearful of me, firm. They can be very loving though to their children, but they set very clear expectations and you do not cross that line or there's going to be severe consequences. Again, as teachers, we work with each of these different styles and it can be interesting because sometimes the parents will be helpful and sometimes they won't, depending on their parenting style.
You have risked the exposure of our world. Were you in Slytherin and your fate rested with me, the both of you would be on the train home.
It is for Professor McGonagall to determine the appropriate action.
I will be writing to your families tonight, and you will both receive detention.
Sometimes teachers and administration disagree. This could be about policy, expectations for students, or how you interpret a certain policy. It's important to try to uplift other teachers and the administration. This is something that bothers me about these movies. These students put themselves and people in danger. They also just exposed all of the wizarding world, and they basically just got a slap on the wrist. That's kind of frustrating sometimes as a teacher. So the students they're gonna do this again, or another student sees that and they think, oh, so if that's all that happens, then I could do that too. Sometimes it's really important to talk with parents and talk with administration and ultimately help the student as best as we can at this point in their lives so that they don't make a greater mistake in the future. I'm super jealous of that greenhouse. I would love that. This year I'm teaching AP Environmental Science. I think that would be so amazing to have a whole greenhouse like this. Okay, I'm done. Sorry.
Flaps tight down. Grasp. Pull it sharply up out of the pot. You dunk it down into the other pot. Pour a little sprinkling of soil.
Professor Sprout uses the demonstration method. This is the same one that Flitwick used in the first movie. Basically, you model what you want the students to do, then you allow the students to conduct. This is used with a lot of the teachers in these movies, so I'm going to come back to it and talk about some of the different types.
Our mandrakes are still only seedlings. Their cries won't kill you yet, but they could knock you out for several hours, which is why I've given each of you a pair of earmuffs.
Don't worry, you're not gonna die. You just might pass out for several hours. No big deal. In all seriousness though, I teach high school science. Sometimes you're dealing with chemicals, burners, or something that should not be ingested. There's a reason why we have safety laws.
He's just fainted.
Just leave him there.
Just leave him there. He'll be fine. I probably should get some assistance if this happened in real life. Probably shouldn't just leave him there.
Let me introduce you to your new defense against...
Do all the Hogwarts teachers walk into class late? I feel like that's happened with every single one of them.
Come on now, round them up, they're any pixies!
Lockhart uses a technique called experiential learning. Instead of explaining the lesson directly, he throws the students into the action. They have the task of figuring out what to do. He's just kind of like, yeah, go for it, all this craziness. Oh, okay, this is crazy. I'm leaving. Have fun. Bye. He's kind of more about protecting his image than actually offering guidance to the students. It can work. It kind of teaches them through trial and error, critical thinking and creativity and problem solving. Maybe if you would have released one at a time, if you see that students can't handle it, offer some ideas, but don't give them the answer. The idea with experiential learning is the students are learning as they go. Maybe say, do you know any spells? What could be something that you could use to help trap this pixie?
We will be transforming animals into water goblets.
I wonder how she decides what to transform. What standards do they have? What's their curriculum?
Now it's your turn, Mr. Weasley.
Ferroverto.
That wand needs replacing.
She uses one-on-one demonstration. You do your demonstration and then you have students work on their demonstration one at a time. Professor Sprout, however, used the whole class. So this was more of a group demonstration. Both techniques are good. If you do individual, then you can help each student. If they can't figure it out, you can say, well, your wand's not working, so maybe we should get that fixed. You can provide initial feedback, which helps the students to be able to grow individually. Professor Sprout's method, you're not exposing a student if they can't figure it out right away. If it's a simple task, you can overlook the whole class and evaluate simultaneously. It's more effective when you're teaching a uniform concept.
I was wondering if you could tell us about the Chamber of Secrets.
Very well. Slytherin had built a hidden chamber in this castle, known as the Chamber of Secrets.
Sometimes things happen in a school and students want to know about it. You have to evaluate, is this something they don't really need to know about? McGonagall takes on a student-centered learning approach, also called adaptive teaching. She did not have this in her lesson plans. Students are curious. They have great questions. Sometimes they relate to your topic, sometimes they don't. So you have to decide as a teacher, am I going to go with this question, run down this rabbit trail and talk about whatever this thing is, or should we refocus on the lesson?
Another goal for Slytherin!
This was also in the last movie. It's important as a teacher to support your students outside of school, to show them that you care and that you don't just see this person at school.
There's been another attack. Our students are in great danger. Hogwarts is no longer safe.
If Hogwarts is no longer safe, why do they keep having school? We get like the whole day off 3 days in advance for a threat of a snow flurry. Yes, I live in the South. I used to live in the North. Now living here and getting school canceled 3 days in advance for a possible flurry, it kind of makes me laugh a little bit.
First, teach the students to block unfriendly spells.
Students can tell teacher rivalries. I do like how Snape offers his suggestions here, though. It is like a I kind of know more than you sort of way. It was kind of professional in how he said, like, suggested, maybe you should do this and not this. I'm sorry. Maybe you should do this and not this.
One's at the ready.
Inverte statue!
If you know several students are rivals, you probably shouldn't put them against each other in a competition like this. Sometimes I think it's good if you're trying to have them do something productive, work on a project. They learn how to work together theoretically. I know it doesn't always work.
I have decided it's time for you to step aside. This is an order of suspension. You'll find all 12 signatures on it.
So I don't really know school hierarchy in other countries. Typically in the US, teachers and other staff members kind of have their own classroom or their own area of expertise. Above them, you have your principals, which are over the specific school itself. And then above them is usually the superintendent, who's over all the principals over the whole district. Above the superintendent is the school board. They are responsible for setting goals and policies, which then the superintendent puts into place. They're usually elected by the community. That's what this just reminds me of. I don't think it's quite the same, but to me it seems at least similar to what a school board would do.
You're the defense against the dark arts teacher. You can't go now.
Well, I must say, when I took the job, there was nothing in the job description about
You're running away?
The job description, that's funny. There are a lot of things that were not in the job description of being a teacher.
You have broken perhaps a dozen school rules, and there is sufficient evidence to have you both expelled. That you both receive special awards for services to the school.
Good job. Good job. You broke the rules, nearly got a teacher killed. You should have been expelled at the beginning of the school year, and you should have been expelled now. But instead, I'm going to give you a special award.
One hopes that no more of Lord Voldemort's old school things should find their way into innocent hands. The consequences for the one responsible would be severe.
Severe consequences, like giving you a special award.
All exams have been cancelled.
I love how Hermione's bummed about that. It's funny actually seeing the teachers when he says the exams are canceled. Some of them are happy about it. Yes, I don't have to grade finals. I don't have to come up with the tests. That's exciting. I don't have to proctor it. But then a few of the other ones are like, oh, now I don't know what I'm going to do those last few days of school.
It's no Hogwarts without you, Hagrid.
And this shows if you have good rapport with your students, a lot of times it'll come back and it'll help you in the end, especially like right before Christmas break or Teacher Appreciation Week. No, I'm just kidding. Kind of. And that's it for the Chamber of Secrets. Thank you for sticking around. Again, if you have not, make sure you like this video below and subscribe. Thank you for joining me today, and I'll see you in the next one.